Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. How's it going? May 20th here, taking a look at the infrared satellite across Pacific Ocean. You're going to see that we're bringing this trough across the area, and we're going to eventually bring some of that troughing across Pacific Northwest here. We're going to get rid of that heat dome here that we've been dealing with for the last week plus across the area. You can see some of that thunderstorm activity last night firing up here. We'll take a look at that and some more details starting here, but take a look at this complex of storms that developed over the Cascades of Oregon as we went through last night. Look at that thing, just a massive thunderstorm complex, lots of lightning strikes associated with that, and it helped kick off a couple thunderstorms across western Washington too. You kind of see them here at the end of the run. Is that one pop up there across some of the South Puget Sound there? I'll show you a video that I captured on my GoPro there last night as well. Then you can see that activity move off with that steering flow kind of out of the southwest here, keeping these thunderstorms from continuing across the Puget Sound. We're going to do this again today. Some of this thunderstorm activity is going to kick off mainly Cascades through eastern portions here. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. Now, taking a look at my video last night, you can see that lot of lightning last night. I saw hundreds of strikes as I was out there. I'll back that up a little bit here, and you can kind of see that creeping up from the south there, but even a little bit of nice structure there as these couple of storms moved over the area. A little bit of rain for the garden last night, but watch the lightning activity pick up as it gets a little bit closer. You can see the top of that thunderstorm here. Look at all those flashes occurring there, just one after another. And then you'll notice as it gets a little bit closer to SeaTac there, it does start to slow down towards the end of the video. But, it put on quite a nice show there. Heard thunder for a while. It's always nice when we get them here. They are pretty rare here west of the Cascades. But in the summertime, we can get them once in a while. We can get them year-round, actually. But you can see the lightning strikes kind of slow down there as you go towards the end of the video. And this they put out last night for the special weather statement out there. Even some small hail was called in for the storm here. And maybe some gusty winds occurred with that. But not too big of a deal there. Mostly just a nice lightning show. This is for today. We do have the marginal risk here, mainly a hail and wind risk here. Cascades again east. I'll show you what the models are saying here coming up in a moment. But looking at SeaTac the last few days, I mean, ever since March 10th, we've been above average here, and we've been hitting, we hit record highs 4 days in a row. We've remained above average. We are going to cool things back down towards the average here as we go through the end of the month, though, coming up. Now, if you take a look at the national blend of models here, you can see we're still not doing too bad. The average temperature is up in the upper 60s here for this time of year. And you can see we're going to be dealing with some 70s still as we go through next week coming up. You see a bit of a cool down here as we go through the end of the weekend as we go. This is looking at Spokane. No big heat dome there, but you can see some nice temperatures coming through up here, a little bit above average a lot of these days. This is looking at the day one again here. This would be day two. You see that threat pushes off east. It's going to include northeast Washington here down through Oregon, Idaho, and Montana as well. And then as we go through day three, you can see that threat start to push off to the east here. Now looking at the lightning flash density potential, as we look at the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh, you notice activity really in BC, Oregon, not too much showing up for Washington here, maybe a little bit overnight. So you might get a thunderstorm around Lake Chelan or maybe the east slopes of the Cascades as we go through the overnight into early morning hours tomorrow. And on Sunday, we're going to do that again and check out some of these storms across northeast Washington into BC. Some of these could be pretty strong here. As you can see, prolific lightning producers, maybe some gusty winds and some hail associated with those as well. And as we go on in through Monday, that threat is going to kick off to the east. This is looking at composite reflectivity on the NAM 3KM high resolution model, kind of showing something similar today. It does show a couple storms popping off on the east slopes of the Cascades of Washington, but you can see that activity mainly down into Oregon here as we go through the overnight hours. And again, another chance across some of the east slopes of the Cascades overnight into tomorrow morning. And as we go through the day Sunday, again, kind of showing that area, maybe the Blue Mountains here in northeast Washington into BC for some stronger thunderstorms before that threat pushes off to the east as we go through Monday. Here's convective available potential energy, and put that into motion. You can see that really pop up across the Cascades up into BC here, and that's going to do it again tomorrow. That cape across some of northeast Washington. Then we're going to push that threat off. Now looking at the wider view of things here is Alaska, Washington, Oregon. Check out the troughing over the Pacific Ocean here, over the Gulf of Alaska, and you can see that heat dome kind of moving off. As we place that with a trough, we're going to cool down a bit. Might be a little bit below average here as this trough moves across the region here, and then we'll be dealing with kind of this this ridging returning, and then another trough potentially returning as we go on in through later the following week here. This is looking at total precipitation, and I'm going to scroll through this pretty quick. This is yesterday afternoon's European run, and you can see some of that from the thunderstorm potential coming here the next couple of days. Look at northeast Washington. There's going to probably be some pretty heavy rainfall. Could get some burn scar flash flooding here even with some of these storms here as we go through today's Sunday. Now as we go off, you'll notice we go into the end of next week here. Then we get a system kind of rolling in here. It looks kind of wet here for west of the Cascades, maybe Portland north into BC here. And yeah, so we'll watch this system day by day here. We're not going to get too much detail about that just yet. We're looking pretty far out, over 180 hours at this point, but it does bring some beneficial precipitation across the region here. This is looking through the end of May 29th, 6 to 10 day. You can still see we are just in the above average signal there, and this is precipitation probability, kind of a below average signal across mainly western Washington. This is the 7-day precipitation outlook here, so that's before that system would get here as we go towards the end of the following week here. And you can see kind of the deficit would be running here across a lot of western BC, down through western Washington and Oregon. This would go through May 26th, afternoon shown here. This is looking at sea surface temperature anomalies. Make sure to update this, but I've been showing this for the last few times I've been doing videos here at home, but you can see that warm tongue moving across the Pacific Ocean here, out across the central equatorial Pacific, and things are starting to warm up here even along the west coast. We were pretty well below average here through mid-April. Now we are even warming it up here along the west coast. The ocean is definitely warming. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of conditions this brings us here as we go through summertime into fall and next winter. This is looking at the May 15th forecast here, and you can kind of see us once you move above 1.5, you're in strong El Nino territory, and when you're above a 1 degree anomaly, then you are considered in moderate El Nino. But you can see this month by month: July, August, September, October, November, December, and then January, that warm tongue extending across the equatorial Pacific. That is a classic textbook El Nino signature shown there, and this is the European. There'll be a new update here out June 1st, but you can see it has us headed towards a strong El Nino as we go towards the fall. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed those thunderstorms last night. I did. I woke up, or I set my alarm on purpose. I thought they might fire up there, and indeed they did, and I had the drone out. Maybe I'll try to get some of that video out later as well. But anyway, yeah, we're going to cool down a bit here. That heat dump's going to take a bit of a break here, but we're still going to remain right around average, maybe above average for some of the days as well. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Get out there, enjoy the temperatures. Today should be a fairly nice day across Pacific Northwest, and we will do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.